Hello guys, welcome to the series of getting started in Selenium test cases in Python. So this is the part third of my series, and if you wanted to look at the part one and part two, you can have a look on the left hand side or probably on the right hand side. So welcome to the tutorial, and so let's start. So in the part third, what we are going to do is that basically we are trying to learn the few concepts. The first concept is the navigations or navigating. How you can navigate one page to another using uh, using Selenium in Python. So what you can do is that it's very straightforward actually. So whenever you have a driver instance, for instance, what you can do is that you can just call the function .get directly and just pass on the whatever the URL that you wanted to load. And so it's a very straightforward. And the another thing that you can do is that if you wanted to move back or do forward or whatever it is, what you can do is that you directly just pass on to move forward driver dot forward, and if you wanted to go back you can just do driver dot go back. The main important points here is that if you have used lots of ajax requests on the page, then WebDriver possibly will not able to load that request. So this is the one of the caveat that you have to keep in mind while doing the testing using driver.get or whatever it is. Next thing is that if you wanted to interact with the elements on the page while writing Selenium test cases in Python. So suppose we have this kind of input box where we have name and ID fields already mentioned. How you can access this element by using like different locators. So you can access it by directly a function which is known as find element by ID and just pass it on whatever the ID that you are able to find it. And you can similarly in the second line, what you can do is that you can get this element if you wanted to, if you already know the name of it. And the third one is basically related to the XPath. So what exactly XPath is doing is that here it's just finding out all the inputs where we have ID is equal to password ID eventually. So this is how you can basically interact with the elements using Selenium if you wanted to use it in your Selenium test cases. So what if you have a certain kind of form basically and you wanted to fill that form, but you can directly use send keys functions where you can just mention whatever text you wanted to text in. And if you also want to basically do certain kind of key events, you can just pass it on with the comma separator and key dot arrow down, arrow up, enter, return, whatever it is. So suppose if you have a Facebook login and you enter your username password and hit key enter, it basically submits that. So you can emulate that kind of behavior directly using this whatever the keys, arrows and things that I mentioned. Similarly, if you wanted to clear this input box, you can use element.clear. And here, if you have a submit box, you wanted to click it, you can just find that element using submit and just click on it. So in the upcoming demo that we are going to have it about, so we'll basically you use whatever the fields that I have told you previously. So stay tuned. Another important thing that you wanted to do is that, for example, you have a select box in your page and you wanted to select certain item. For example, second item you wanted to select. For example, if you are booking a flight and you want to select a second item, how you can do is that find that element using name, ID, whatever it is, and what you can do directly is that just select, use the function select by index, select by visible tags, or select by value, whatever is the convenient according to you. And if you want to deselect it, you can just use select.deselect underscore all function that will basically deselect whatever it is. All right. And this is important, like it's one of the things that comes in mind when you are writing Selenium test cases. And when you wanted to do certain kind of drag and drops, so it's a very pretty straightforward. So the first thing you can do is that you have source as well as you have a target, right? So just find out how using locators your elements. For example, here we have a name element by we have called the element by name and we have passed the source and the target, and after that we have basically leveraging a class from Selenium WebDriver where we have just imported action chains. So what exactly action chains is that it provides a method to drag and drop from element of source to the target. So we have just passed element as well as the target, and it basically it will do is that it will just drag and drop whatever it is from. drag and drop, whatever it is. So another important thing that sometimes come into mind while you are writing Selenium test cases is that you want to switch between windows as well as sometimes in the frame. It's very straightforward in Selenium Python. What you can do is that there is a pre-built function which is switch to window, and you just have to find give the handle name. And if you wanted to switch to a frame, you can just give the frame name, right? Right. Okay. And if you wanted to have like pop-up blocks, for example, pop-up dialogues you wanted to have to switch to, basically to click on OK or cancel, whatever it is, you can just use driver dot switch to alert and do whatever action that you wanted to do. So basically, we are going to see all the implementation in the next in the demo part. Right. The another thing that you wanted to do is that sometimes you need to access cookies. So if you wanted to add a cookie or probably delete a cookie, you can just directly use driver.add cookie, and cookie is basically key value pair, and you can get all the cookies by using get underscore cookies method, and you can print it out or whatever it is you wanted to do with it. So let's jump to a demo part. So I will be basically doing this. This is the my test website, not mine actually. This is related to Catalan, and they have a very interesting website that we wanted to automate. So what we are going to do is that basically we will just click on make appointment, and we'll log in with this email ID and do. And so basically they have mentioned their username and password. So let's quickly enter those details and log in. And no, and in the facility you can select whatever you wanted to do. You can apply for readmission, whatever it is. You can select whatever date it is, and you can just enter any comment and submit, book an appointment. And here it is, your appointment is confirmed. You can click on go home page, and if you wanted to see your history, just go to history, and you will have your basically kind of appointment read. So we are going to automate this right now in Selenium test cases in Python. So this is here it is. I know I have like already written most of the code, so I don't want like to basically kind of do typing in front of you guys. So what I have done is that if you have followed my previous tutorials, we have this kind of structure, right? So let me discuss again very quickly about this once. So we have basically certain test cases. So this is our one test case, and our web driver is basically here. We have Gecko WebDriver basically in our root folder, and that's all. These test cases are already as a different that we have discussed in part 1 and part 2. So this is our main test case, verify appointment.py only. So let's do one by one quick walk through what exactly we are doing. And let me do one thing. Let me show you how to run it first. So let's go. We are going to run it right now in front of you guys. So as you know, it's a unit test case. So it's going to load up, and we have like automation icon here in the Firefox that it's going to do something, and then open uh, the demo website and enter the username password. So quickly, as you can see, it's selected certain options and make an appointment and verified, and that's all, and our test case has passed. All right, so let's see what exactly we have done in this case. So if you have followed previously, we have a structure like we have a class name, and we have extended our unit test cases class. So first of all we have to do is that import our unit test cases. We have some imports from Selenium. Keys we are not using, we are using time, and PyTest we are not using, just we have added it as a options. And we have also imported our select options because we want to select those whatever it is, that drop downs and all, right? So whenever we write certain classes in unit test, we have two methods already popped up, which is setup and tear down. So in the setup method, we are going to initialize our driver. So we call it webdriver.firefox, and we are just passing out our executable file. And suppose if you have already like in your path file about your Firefox or basically the driver in your path, then you don't need to explicitly mention it. But I like to use as a it's like a project dependency, right? So this is our test case, and this is a tear down method. Basically what we are doing is that we're just closing the driver instance whenever we are done with our test cases. And this is a basically we are calling the unit dot main. Basically we are calling this function, this class, object, and it's going to run this function, this basically test case. So the most important thing that we have to do is that unit test case, you have to write test underscore, and after that whatever the name of your test case, and we have a self available. So what we are going to do is that we are just doing is that self driver is equal to driver so that we don't have to write again and again self driver again. We are going to go into that URL. We are basically going to insert the title. We are going to find a button, basically uh, this button actually, and if you wanted to see, you can inspect it, and you're able to find that it has a ID, and we are going to click it. We just wait for 2 seconds, and we just print the URL whatever it is, and we are going to assert that okay, we have profile page login after it. So if I clicked on it, I'm able to find because I am right now logged out. I'll let me log out here, and after that we are going to basically find the username and password IDs. You can directly go to there and click on it, and here we have IDs, and after that we are just asserting it whatever it is, and let me put this username password first again. So all right, and here we are just going to select this thing, and so we are going to use select class, and it has ID of combo facility, as you can see here. If I go to inspect element, and it says combo facility, and here we want to select this option. Let me undo this. We want to select Hong Kong Pura, basically the second one. We can do by index also, but I am just using visible text, whatever the visibility is this. And after that, we are just going to pass certain data for these guys. So basically, they are most of them are available with IDs. We are just going to send keys, and basically clicking it. And after that, whenever we are done with it, we are just going to basically assert that uh, whatever the page source where we are getting, it has appointment confirmation message, and we are just slopping it. And after that, take it down. So that's all in this tutorial. And if you have any doubt or anything that you wanted to discuss with me, so you can just put it down in the comments. And guys, do share, subscribe, and like these videos. I put lots of effort in it. And if you have any doubt, you can just mail me or what, or do in the comments. I try to reply them as fast as I can. And so thanks a lot guys, and see you in the next tutorial where we are going to run our test cases in probably in Jenkins or Docker, whatever it is. And so have a nice day, and bye.